Hey guys, welcome to the Career Switching Workshop. It's your host Shash Speak, and on this call we have a mixture of students and prospective customers who are looking to join us on the program, and we're here to give you a taster as to how we work and to answer any questions that you have whatsoever. And in this workshop we're going to be covering how to become either a business analyst, a project manager, or a data BI analyst, even if you don't have the relevant experience and without spending thousands of pounds going back to university. And we'll be sharing proven strategies on this call, which you can take away with you and implement straight away and get instant results. So I want to make sure that you guys are able to take the most out of this call. So I've invited some of our successful students who recently secured a job where they're coming from all sorts of backgrounds. We've had international students, we've had people who come from sales, we've had administration, carers, we've got a lot of people from healthcare, a lot of people that work in the hospitality and hotel industry as well, but a pilot, we've had people from all sorts of backgrounds. And they managed to secure really high profile jobs in either business analysis, project management, or data business intelligence analysis. So we've invited some of our students who have recently secured roles, and they're going to be sharing their journey as to how they managed to secure the role. But before I go into it, I want to ask some questions on this call before we get started, just to ascertain like who's on this call right now, because I want to make sure that whoever's on this call can make or get the most out of this call. So I'm going to ask a few questions. So I'm going to launch a few polls. So first off, I want to know very briefly, are you an existing student of TLA on this call, or are you currently thinking about joining us? So I've just launched this poll now. We are currently in Zoom right now. So for those who are watching us on Facebook Live, Instagram, or LinkedIn Live, this is specifically within Zoom. So I'll be able to see all the questions within Zoom itself. So I'll be able to answer those questions. But I'll head on over. So do drop any questions that you have underneath this video, whether it's on Facebook Live, Instagram, or LinkedIn Live. And either myself or a member of my team will make sure we respond to the questions straight away or as soon as we can. Okay, so you can see we have about 50% of students and 50% are currently thinking of joining. Okay. Okay, that's really, really good to know. It's very, very insightful. The next one we have is, okay, which area of business support are you interested in? So in general, so are you within the business analysis space? Are you looking to go into project management or data BI analysis? So just launch that poll now, so you should get it on your screen. Okay, see a lot of business analysts, a lot of data analysts. Okay, got simple project management. Okay. Okay, this is really, really good to know. Okay, so I can see that the majority of vote is on business analysis. Business analysis is absolutely booming right now. There's a lot of high-end jobs going on in business analysis. Perfect. Okay, it's good to know. Okay, next one I'm going to do, so got a couple more. For those who are currently looking of joining or thinking of joining us, this is more for you. I want to know, right, like if you're thinking about joining, what's holding you back from joining? I generally want to know that. So just launch this poll now, just to ascertain where your head is at right now, where your mind is at. Okay, not sure how it works. Sounds too true. Not sure if it is about value for money, it's too expensive. Okay. Okay, got others. Okay. Okay. No, the sounds true could be true, right? You could just head on over to the review section. You can see that for yourself. Like we've had a lot of six-figure earners and so on. So, and it does, because being able to think that you can go from like 20K to like 80K the following year is a very it's very hard to feel like your net worth or your internal worth can get to that amount in such a short amount of time. But it's not your fault. I think that's just the way you've been preconditioned to think. Because even when I was on when I was 21 years old, I was earning £15,000 a year. And to think that, okay, I'm going to be on 100K in the next few years, that the thought could even come across my mind. It's only once I had exposure to certain things or certain ideologies, it opened my brain to what else can be. And I think that's what it is. Once you understand like the value inside, like your mindset and your internal value, once that changes, you'll see that it's all that much more possible. So it's not too good to be true. Like you can double, triple your income literally within the next few years. Probably even this year, to be honest with you, I went from 15K to 150K. It took me 2 years to get there. There's a massive shift. Everything literally turned upside down. But that just comes with your belief patterns. As long as you're willing to change and willing to learn fast, you can do it. But if you're always holding on to like being hesitant to change, then it's very, very difficult to make those strides and leaps. So you have to be open to change. You have to constantly be open to change. For those who are not sure how it works, I'll talk you through very, very briefly how the program of ours works. So the program that we have essentially is a 3-stage program that we have, where we provide you with a certification, we provide you with internship experience, and we also give recruitment support at the back of it. So it's a full end-to-end 360 career transformation. You don't have to go back to university, £27,000 a year, or spend 3 years of your life. This is simply a 90-day program that we have. In each business analysis, data analysis, and project management, what I would suggest, towards the end of the call, I'm going to drop a link so you can book a call with our team to speak to us, to find out how it works. Because it's an absolute game changer. A lot of this program was built on the back of the problems that I personally faced during my early 20s, where I wanted to get the experience, I wanted to switch careers, but every time I apply, I keep getting the same question. Shad, you don't have any experience. So it's like, how can I get more experience if no one's willing to give it to me? Yeah. But now you can buy the damn experience, make your life easier, and make those strides and leaps. Just make your life so much easier. So we have loads of different ways, different strategies, and how you can take those leaps and bounds, and how you can open up that mindset. I have recently launched in the TLA portal that we have for the students, in the mindset video, in the watch this first section, there's a video in there on mindset, on how I went from 15K to 150K. I've documented the process down and the mindset that's needed to get to that level. So definitely watch that video. I'm sure it would help a lot for a lot of you guys where you feel stuck or where you're struggling to think in a certain way. That will really help put things into perspective for you. And for those who are saying it's too damn expensive, but look, if you pay cheap, you will pay twice. You pay cheap, you pay twice. But ultimately it comes down to what you value more, whether it's the price or the results. The results we get are not typical. It's not like you're going from 20K to 25K. Then we don't get those results. Our results are typically from like 25K to like 60K beyond, 50K plus, even higher than that, like 45K to over beyond 100K. So these are really, really big results that we get. I'm not sure if it's valid for money. That's a really tough one. You have to ask the students themselves. As you go through all these case studies of our students, especially on the website, you'll see people from all sorts of backgrounds all throughout the world who at the back of the program, they're managed to double, triple their income. Ultimately, that's what it's about. You want that level of freedom. That freedom comes with more money and more responsibility as such. And you're going to be happy in your career. Okay, the next question I want to ask, and this is a personal question I want to ask. So earlier today, I was in a group chat with my colleagues, and we were talking about the name of this event. So currently we call it Career Switching Workshop. Previously it was called Career Hacking Live, and I love the name Career Hacking Live. It's just, there's a bit of mystery towards it. That's what it is. But Career Switching Workshop, there's benefits that you know exactly what it is. So I really want to know, like, which event name do you like more, whether it's the Career Switching Workshop or do you prefer it to be Career Hacking Live? So I've just launched this poll now. I really want to know what you guys think is better, Career Hacking Live, or whether you think Career Switching Workshop is better. Ooh, okay. Oh, okay, close 50-50. Okay. 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 Okay, it started off with 100% being career hacking live. Career hacking live went down, and now we're on like 65% career switching workshop and 35% career hacking live. Okay, it looks like career switching workshop is the winner. We'll have to stick to the career switching workshop. Okay, that's fair enough. At least that way, everybody understands exactly what it is that we do on this call, which makes sense. But at the same time, we do hack careers as well. We're fast track careers. But no, it makes sense. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for putting that pull out. Final question I want to ask is, which area of recruitment do you struggle with the most? So do you feel like you struggle with CVs more? Do you struggle with getting interviews, conducting presentations, or is the actual interviews itself? I'd love to know which area do you feel is the biggest struggle for you to help you take that leap and bounce that next level. I've just launched the poll now. Question from, whilst you complete that, a question from now, Ali, how long is the program? So it all depends on what you need from the program itself. So you get people from all sorts of backgrounds now. So we get those who already have the certification, but then they lack the experience or lack support in the recruitment side. But we got those who have the experience, they have the qualification, but then they just need support in getting a high-end role. So we try to tailor it. But ultimately, the full program end to end, it's a 90-day program that we have. It's a 3-month program. I would suggest 100% if you head on to transformlearningacademy.com. I'll just try it over here. Book a call with our career coaching team, and they'll be able to guide you in the right direction. We'll just apply to your question now. Right. Okay, so I can see the poll answers come back. We got CVs, we got 31% CVs, 31% getting interviews, conducting presentations, 24%, interviews to 52%. So interviews seems to be the biggest point. Okay, that's really insightful and really good to know. So I'll make sure that the questions that I ask these students that are going to be jumping on, the right questions, so that way I can just tailor it and make it a bit more easier and simpler for you guys. Make sure you get the most out of this call. Okay, so first up we have, right, is James Parsons. So James is going to talk about his background, his career, how he managed to secure a high-end role working as a business analyst. Okay, James, I just added you to panelist, so you should be able to jump on. Hey James,
I was talking on mute there. Typical. Started me to go on. Hello, how are we doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, James. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. Very good, very good.
Are you jumping on camera?
Bear with me. Hello.
Oh, tough man.
How you doing?
Well, I finally get to put a picture to the name. Well, my man.
Yeah.
First off, just want to give you massive congratulations. You are officially a career switcher. So yeah. I want to change the title from career hacker to career switcher going forward. So you are officially a career switcher. How does it feel?
Yes, yeah, it feels good. It feels good. I mean, do you want to drive, or do you want me to talk you through my background to start with, or how would you want to go?
Go for it. So I'll ask you some questions and stuff, just to find out about you. I want to know, like, what was the problem you had prior to joining us at TLA?
So to give you a brief overview of my background, I worked in financial services for a long time, primarily in the compliance end as a kind of freelancer. So business review and that kind of thing, but in very much the regulatory side of it. My previous role prior to the role before last, prior to me taking this up, kind of mushroomed into a BA role on its own, kind of organically, and I very much enjoyed it. And I off my own back, I took a couple of the BCS courses on my own to try and prepare myself for a career in it going forward. But the kind of wall I hit was when I tried to apply for jobs at the end of that contract was that firstly, I think I was limited in scope because of my experience with just in financial services, and that was limiting me to one area, if you like. But also they wanted a much more a bigger body of experience. So it's kind of the next step up from what you were talking about earlier, really, in that although I had sort of a year's experience in doing a BA role, that really wasn't enough to get me the kind of roles that I was interested in. I mean, I got a few interviews for junior BA positions at a salary level that wasn't really going to work for me, and that, to be honest, and that kind of thing. But so that was really where I hit. Well, I wasn't getting the interviews I wanted, wasn't getting my foot in the door, even to be able to try and impress in the interview, because they were looking for people with 3-4 years experience or different broader range of experience, if you like.
I think plus IR35 kick in as well, didn't it?
Well, yeah. That made contracting a little bit less palatable, yeah, to be honest.
Yeah, no, naturally, it just made sense. The constant evolution, because I think in that market eventually gets to a point where eventually it just gets diluted. I mean, there's so many people, then you have to find that next thing which is less diluted.
Yeah, I mean, so what the downside of PPI was really in the marketplace. So I've been doing that kind of thing for 15 years, but PPI flooded the market with people doing contracting, if you like, because they need so many people. Now there are varying levels of experience, but some of them are very qualified and experienced, and that's just kind of made the pool of people that they were calling on much bigger. Then IR35 as well has kind of hit that from the other side, if you like. So it's a bit of a double whammy there.
Yeah, 100%. So it is what it is, but I think there's other markets where you can make a lot more money as well, which is good. So what drove you to choose TLA specifically over any other company or program?
So specifically, it was by word of mouth. So a colleague of mine had previously taken the course and had a really very quickly landed a successful role. He actually got a contract BA role, and he discussed it with me. It came up that I was having this problem. I hadn't actually known anything about what he was doing, but we ended up chatting, and he kind of talked me through it, and it went from there. Really, I did a bit of research myself, obviously, but having someone I knew and trusted to give it the endorsement like that was a big thing for me, obviously, because as much as you can research and read things online, that kind of thing really shows that it works. And that if you see what I mean.
I think if there's a personal connection, then you kind of know and trust that person. But sometimes you see something online, you don't know that person, and then in your mind you think that, okay, is it not? So I know I get what you're saying. Okay, tell us more about the job that you secured. Is it a contract job? Is it a permanent job?
It's a permanent job. It's a permanent job with a company. Am I allowed to say the company name? I've got no problem with saying it. Is that right? Yeah. So it's a company called Curtis Banks. They're a SIP provider based in Bristol. They're a very upwardly mobile, sort of very. They've grown very. They've taken on, bought out several other smaller businesses. So they're very much on the up in the market. And I've landed a senior BA role there. Salary. In a salary in the range of nearly 20k higher than the ones I was getting interviewed for before. Let's put it that way. So that was good as well. But yeah, very happy with it. It gave me a lot of responsibility to be able to model how I want to do things myself, which is nice. And I trusted my experience. So yeah, very happy indeed.
That's amazing. And did you use job portals for this, or was it via LinkedIn?
I use primarily, actually, I do use LinkedIn, but primarily I just because I'd used it before, I got the interview through the Reed website.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of BA roles on there. There's a lot of BA roles everywhere. I think there is a lot of.
That's amazing. How many jobs were you applying to in a day?
I only really applied for about 15 before I got this one, and I'm actually expecting to get. I've accepted this one, but I'm expecting to get 2 more offers in the next couple of days. I found out. I mean, I was quite impressed. Another. I don't know if I'm going to jump ahead here, but what doing this course and having it on my CV enabled me to do was really get interviews as well. As I said, touched on before, I was really only attractive to the people in the financial services space, but I got an interview with a large hotel corporation, and I got the interview with the AA, and I'm expecting to get offered both of those as well. Those are things that wouldn't have happened, I think, with just my financial services experience as well. So there's that kind of breadth of options, if you like, that kind of opened up for me too.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And how many interviews have you been on in total?
So I've only actually I applied for about 12 jobs. Some of them didn't come back. I think I've only had 5 interviews, and I'm expecting to get offered. I've been offered 1, and I'm expecting to get offered 3. So that's not a bad ratio.
Wow, that's almost about 60%, 70%. That's insane.
That's what. It's not bad, is it? Not bad.
Well, that's really good. So how did you prepare for the interviews? What was your process?
Well, so the key to preparing for the interviews. And I used again, there's a very good portal that you've got for this, with a glossary of kind of interview questions and some videos about scenarios and things like that, which really helped. But the key thing for me would be, the key tip I'd give anybody is to look at the job spec, if you've got one, for the company that you're applying for, and really go through it line by line and marry up the things that you've taken away from this course, the experience that you've got, with as many points of the job spec as you can, and start from there, really, because then you're focusing in on the things that the company wants. And I think that's an intelligent way to start preparing for anything. That's really what I did. And as well, I prepared for the situational questions that you had on your website, in terms of what they were going to ask me, the kind of things, and how to think about beforehand about how I could marry that up with things I'd done before, both on this project with yourselves and on my previous work history, if you like. I think that really stood me in good stead for the interviews.
And did you like develop a whole star structure to it and then start rehearsing? Like, what was your process? Were you
Yeah, I used. Sorry to interrupt. Yes, sorry. I used the star.
Or was it like the case of you just wrote it down and you just kept repeating it over and over?
No, I took some. We've got a bit of advantage in that we're doing these interviews over Zoom, I guess, because I don't know if you would do this in an interview, but I took some notes. I had some bullet, not detailed notes, but I had some bullet points around my screen, for things I thought I was going to ask, just to set me off and let your mind going in the right direction, And I prepared largely for the right kind of questions. There were a couple of curveballs, but there always are. I think you just got to be able to think on your feet there. But largely, that was good prep.
Was there any questions that you got stuck on?
No, not really. I don't think. I mean, they asked me a question about what element of what achievement in my career I was most proud of, and that was a question I hadn't prepared for, really. And although that should be the easiest one to answer, probably I did wait. It caused me a bit of pause, that one, but yeah, I got through them all. Nothing stumped me.
They kind of pretty much caught you off guard.
Yeah, caught me off guard. And they always ask you. They tend to ask you. Only in two of the interviews they ask you questions about your weaknesses. Now, you've got to be careful not to try and damn yourself with faint praise there too much, although that is obviously the game there. You don't want to go too far, though, give away any serious character flaws or anything like
that. When it came to doing your CV and stuff, did you struggle much in terms of being able to translate your previous experience across into like change type experience, like using transferable skills, or did you find that quite easy?
I found that relatively easy, but I did use the very helpful CV guide for the experience for this project that you put on the website, and I basically just copied that for this role. But then I went back using that kind of template through my previous roles and said, if I framed what I've done in the correct way for this, for a business analysis role, because my CV prior to that was written very much in the vein of financial services compliance roles, and there is a lot of crossover in a lot of these projects, because a lot of it involves an element of analysis, if you like, because fundamentally these roles are normally firefighting roles where you're going in and trying to fix a problem that's happened, and then figure out why it's happened and gone wrong, and make sure it doesn't happen in the future. So there's an element of BA stuff, I think, to a lot of these roles I've done previously as well, if you think about it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. What did you do? Did you do anything differently for this interview for this job that you secured? Did you do anything different in this one compared to others?
Well, that's it. I mean, the thing is, well, for me, to be honest, and this might not be that helpful answer for some people, is because I've been in contracting for so long, my problem was I hadn't actually done a proper job interview for about 10 years or longer than that, actually. Because once you get known, there's 3 or 4 contracting companies that I've used, and once they know you, it's kind of like, "Hi, you're free to do this? Yeah, okay, do this." And that's basically the interviews, in the last 10 years. So I was really starting from a point of being, well, I've done this for a long time. But yeah,
normally just falls in your lap, and it's so
yeah.
easy when you're in those contracting environments. But like when you have to go for now these completely different types of agencies, and there's so many, it's not just going for one agency, but there's so many different agencies now.
That's right, yeah. And you've got to prepare in a whole different way. So I'm on first name terms with 2 of the 3 outsourcing companies, with the MDs that I've worked for before. So if he comes and phones me up and asks me to do something, yeah, he knows what I can do, and he knows I don't really have to sell myself. But so it was a bit of a learning curve, a relearning curve, if you like, for that.
100%. No, that's amazing. Well, what tip would you give to all those that are currently looking for roles right now?
The number one tip would be, sorry to repeat myself, would be just to go through that job spec go through the job spec for the role you're looking at and marry up you can't go far wrong. If you're able to say, this is what you're at, bring it up in the course of the interview, this is what you're looking for, this is what you're looking for, I can do this, this is what this joins together, this is a good fit, that's a good fit, and go through like that, and be prepared to answer the general questions that they will almost always ask. And as I say, you've got a very good resource for that on your portal. And that would be my tips for anybody really. And I think you can't, and obviously I think confidence comes from that preparation in the interviews. If you go in there and feel like you're getting thrown a curveball, no matter how confident you are, and I'm cocky as hell most of the time, you can end up feeling a bit stumped, and then you get a bit flustered. Just the preparation's the key, isn't it? Just make sure you've covered as many bases as you can before you go in.
100%. No, I completely agree. 2 questions I want to ask. One is, what kept you motivated all the way throughout the program? Like, what gave you the boost to keep going?
It was the thought of what was the end, going to be the end goal. You know, it's the thought of is getting the job that pays me what I think I'm worth, that gives me the opportunity to flourish in the future. And you know, it comes down to the green a lot of it. In the end of the day, we want to earn enough money to be comfortable and have a happy life. That's the motivation.
Oh no, that's good. That's really, really good to hear. So did you like visualize that at night time and like go to sleep thinking about it, or was it like just a constant goal that was just dangling in front of you and you be?
Yeah. I'm a very easily motivated, self-motivating person. So I'm on it most of the time. So I was just thinking about the end result all the time. You know, and I was working kind of doing this and obviously working on a separate project as well during the day. So I was working sort of some crazy hours a week, but you know, that's you only get out what you put in, I guess, don't you?
Yeah, that's amazing. That last question I want to ask is, which part of the program do you feel helped the most?
Well, I think there's lots of areas that it helped, and lots of areas in the technical sense that going through the program helped, because it just enables you to go through a very for me, it was a different kind of project that I worked on before in a different industry. But the number one, if I had to pick one, is having the experience to put on your CV, the additional experience. I think because that for me, almost immediately having that additional experience got me. I could see myself getting interviews when I wasn't getting them before. If you see what I mean. And that ability to get my foot in the door is the number one thing. I think the thing that helped the most out of a lot of things that helped.
Experience, that's amazing. And what would you say to those that are currently on the fence of joining us right now?
I'd say I'd thoroughly recommend it. I mean, I couldn't recommend it enough. If you saw the kind of job interviews that I was able to secure and how I felt prepared going into them, from using the resources that they provide them. It's not just a course. There's great resources in the portal to use, scenario stuff that you can watch, and then all that stuff gives you much more confidence in the interview. But fundamentally, just the interviews I was getting almost straight away afterwards that I wasn't getting before was enough to sell it. Should be enough to sell it to anybody else, really, honestly.
Oh, perfect. No worries. James, I really, really appreciate your time. I really, really appreciate you joining us on the call. Like, it's magic. Definitely keep in touch, and I'd love to hear about your progress going forward.
No problem. Thanks a lot. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. All the best.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks, buddy. Okay, next up, we're going to have Kashif that's going to be joining us. I can see we have a question from Francis. So Francis is asking, for someone wanted to take the business analyst route with no experience, what certifications will you advise they start with? Okay, so Francis, so for those who want to take the BA route and you have no experience, it depends if you have no BA experience that we're talking, or are you saying no professional experience? Because if you're saying that you have no professional experience whatsoever and you're starting from the complete ground up, then fair enough, you probably need to emphasize more on certifications as such, or gain some sort of charity work experience or something. I think if you've got no work experience whatsoever, I think the case is probably just to get some professional work experience, just so you understand how the professional work environment works, rather than jumping straight into the BA route. But it's a big step up. Just understanding how the office environment works, I think that'll be the number one thing. But if you're coming from a background where you have work experience, okay, so I can see you state that you have work experience. If you have professional work experience, then you can leverage your existing experience. It's like how James just mentioned, he's got so much experience of working in financial services, which wasn't exactly business analysis, but there was a crossover. He was working in like complaint handling roles, business review roles. working in similar type of roles, but not exactly BA. So you didn't have BA experience, right? We gave him the experience, and on the back of it, he translated the experience of his previous roles to be able to then, adjust that accordingly, and then apply for this whole new industry, this whole new type of jobs, BA roles and project manager roles, etc. So if you have work experience, then best to start off with the BCS foundation. But look, with certifications, right? All certifications they only do one thing. Certifications just show loyalty to your craft. That is it. There's nothing else that a certification shows. Because regardless of the certification, you have to have experience in this industry. Otherwise, just going in without experience is very, very difficult, which is the reason why we do this 3-phase program, where we give you the certification, we'll give you the internship experience, and then we'll help you get that job with pure science formula technique as to how to be able to do the CV, do your LinkedIn profile, how to prepare for the interviews, and then once you got the job, the 1 month on the job support as well. So it's a full end-to-end career transformation. So Francis, I hope that answers your question. If you have experience and if you're looking to do yourself, start off with the BCS Foundation, just to have an introduction knowledge into business analysis, how it works. BCS is a great place to start from. Okay, next up we have, is, 1 second, guys. Awesome, thank you so much. No worries, Francis. I appreciate the question. Any more questions, just feel free to drop it in the Q&A section, please. Okay, the next one I have is Kashif. Okay, so Kashif Abbas is going to be joining us. Bear with me 1 second, guys. I've just promoted you to panelist now, Kashif.
Yes.
How are you?
Yeah, very good. Very good. Thank you. How are you?
Long time. You look exactly like your picture that you just had. Split image, which is really good. So,
yeah.
First off, massive congratulations. You are officially a career switcher. How does it feel?
Amazing. Yeah. It's been a great journey. Yeah. So it's really good.
Awesome. Kashif, tell us a bit about you. Tell us a bit about your background.
All right. So I've been predominantly in basically customer services roles, and for the last 8 years, purely sales jobs. So pretty much my career is in customer services and sales. So that's what I've done throughout the career, really. Except first 4 years of my job, which was back in Pakistan, it was a bit of IT related work, but it wasn't really purely techie work. So it was more of a support work, but it was going 15 years ago.
Fair enough. Okay, that's a long time.
Yeah, long time ago.
You make yourself sound much older than what you look. Just about
yeah.
No, it's really, really good. Okay. And what made you join TLA? What was the problem that you had?
The simple answer, you.
How about the problem and the solution?
No, well, actually, the reason was purely the long answer is I was looking for a change, to be honest. I got to the point in life where I was thinking what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, what's my career long term, because being in sales, it can be challenging at times. Obviously, the challenges are in every job, every work you do. But really, I was seriously thinking that I need to change my career for the rest of my life. So I got to the tipping point where I thought I really need to make some decisions now. So the BA, I had some friends who were working in the same sector, project managers, overall in business transformation, change management, and the BA. So to some extent, I was aware of the roles and what it basically takes. but not obviously, I was not fully aware how can I actually land these roles, and whether that was even possible for someone who have no experience. So, but I got to the point where I was looking for different options and exploring different avenues, and until I saw you somewhere, and it got my attention, and then I started exploring more into it, and I did a bit of research into your company, spoke to you a few times, spoke to, I think, Raj and maybe Hussain as well, but I think mainly yourself. We had a few discussions 2 to 3 times, and I finally made a decision. Yes, I need to go ahead with it.
That's amazing. And why did you choose to join us at TLA over any other company or program?
Well, to be honest, the simple answer is I did not know there were other companies doing the same thing as such. But the moment I spoke to you, the moment I understood the whole concept, checked, the company, the content of the course, it was a no-brainer for me, because the way the whole program was structured, the way you explained me things, I didn't feel, I need to look elsewhere, because that was the answer. And it was a no-brainer for me. And I thought, what's the point for me to waste time and look around elsewhere?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I really appreciate that. That's actually a really, really good answer. I really appreciate that. It's good feedback for us. And tell us more about this job that you secured. So is it a perm job, contract?
It's a perm role.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a perm role, and it's purely consulting.
Amazing.
So they are medium-sized consulting firm, operating in multiple sectors, from utilities to public sector to financial services, insurance. So quite diverse.
That's really good.
So yeah.
Okay.
So they have the footprints all over the world, multiple offices in UK, America, and quite a few other countries. So
amazing. And how did you get this job? Was this via LinkedIn? Was it via job portals?
Well, to be honest, I was not very aggressive in terms of my approach to job applying. I did apply through job portals, but to be honest, my response, my feedback so far is mainly LinkedIn, really. LinkedIn. So I got this job from LinkedIn, and the recruiter approached, and I was getting a lot of people approaching through LinkedIn. Oh. And interestingly, through job, I mean, maybe it's me, I didn't have much luck with job portals.
I'm with you. How many were you applying for? Many jobs on the job portals?
Well, last year I applied about 19. That's all altogether. Okay. And maybe I should have been applying more. I should have been more aggressive, but I was not, just because of my work schedule, everything else which was going on. I mean, not to say that they don't work. They would, obviously, depending, obviously, maybe you need to apply more and more. But I think LinkedIn is different in a way that people were approaching me. So I was putting less effort. I was concentrating more on the learning side of it, getting myself up to date, learning things here and there, consuming more contents. And, I was busy on that side. Apart from my day job, I didn't have enough time to really apply aggressively. My weekend was occupied with kids. So it was a bit of a challenge. So that's why I carried on the learning stuff, and then, applied mainly on LinkedIn. Every time somebody approached me, I will be active in responding to them. And as a result, then more people will be contacting. I think that's the algorithm, the way it works. The more you respond, the more people will start to respond to you.
And how did you do your LinkedIn? Did you revamp it from sales? Did you create a separate one, or did you just do the same one and just revamp that?
Yeah, well, actually, as such, the jobs were the same. The company I worked for the same, but literally I used my skills, which were transferable skills, right? So that was it, really. The LinkedIn was exactly the same, but obviously with your help, everything which was available on the job portal, from the very start, I got on the path and improved my CV and made the LinkedIn profile, which obviously was following the same guidelines. So yeah, so I literally picked everything from you guys, how to develop the CV, how to develop the LinkedIn, how it works, the mechanics behind this, the LinkedIn, and how it works, the ATS system, everything, all the tips you guys give. So literally I set the foundation for myself basically from the portal.
That's amazing. And the job itself, so how many interviews would you say you've been on then in total?
How many interviews altogether?
How many interviews, would you say that you've been on?
All right. Okay. So if I give you the figures, last year, out of 19 jobs I've applied myself, I got one interview. And that was mainly through different job portals, Indeed and that stuff. I got one interview, and out of those 19, there was another one, by the way, which was actually from LinkedIn.
Okay.
So that was last year, and that was my first interview. I failed on the first one because I was not ready. Right. Second interview, the other company, I got to the second stage, but still didn't make it to the final. Reason being, there were a few gaps in my knowledge area. And to be honest, last year, it was early last year, and then I kind of gave up. Not in a sense that I didn't want to pursue it, but it was mainly, there was a lot going on. I was so busy in my job, I didn't have enough time.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But then I started back in towards the end of last year, November, December time.
Okay.
So I gave myself like another 6 months to fully dedicate to this, and that's why I managed to land a role now.
That's absolutely insane. That's actually really good to hear. So what changed then? So what changed in your interview style and process?
Well, I think the change I had was this time around, I was having a more structured approach for the preparation.
Okay.
Every time I started giving an interview, I was documenting everything.
Amazing.
Number one thing. I was getting feedback. I was pressing on the recruiters and the companies to give me the feedback, and I was document everything. And I will sit down and reflect where I've gone wrong here, and I will identify the knowledge gaps, the skill gap, the technical skill and the knowledge side of it. And then I will list down all the questions they were asking me, and I will literally prepare a structured approach next time. So really, I think that was different. I was not documenting previously. I mean, the reality, I didn't have enough interviews previously when I applied last year. But this year, I think it was different.
Initially, you were probably just testing how deep the water is. I think that's what it is.
Well, yeah, to some extent, that's true. But I think this year, I only had 1, 2, 3. This was my 4th interview this year.
Wow, that's really good.
4 jobs applied, and they were all from LinkedIn.
Right.
And this was my 4th one.
That's amazing. That's actually pretty insane. And what kind of questions were you being asked in the interview? Was there anything that you struggled to answer?
Well, to be honest, this time I was well prepared. I was so prepared because what I did spend a lot of time consuming a lot of content, right? I really wanted to feel myself that I'm very much ready. I really wanted to hit the market hard once I feel that I'm really ready now. I'm deep inside. I was feeling, I'm confident enough now to handle it. Not only from the knowledge side, the technical side, but also obviously handling the questions. So typically, broadly speaking, you have competency-based questions, and which I learned a lot of those from Job Portal. And in addition to that, I researched online and got some other questions. Altogether, probably maybe 100 questions I got ready for.
That's insane. To be honest, it's no different to a sales pitch, because when you're learning how to sell initially, you're trying to understand the product inside out.
Yeah.
And then you'll devise the pitch, and then you'll do it accordingly. So it's similar to that, but in interview terms, isn't it really? You need to fully understand it, so you know all the objections from every angle, so you're able to answer everything accordingly. So
that's right.
So it's good because you generally have the gift of the gab, that you articulate yourself extremely well, and you can tell that like just by the way you're speaking and stuff. So it makes sense. The process that you've taken, it makes a lot of sense. Were you like rehearsing a lot of the times by writing it out in the star structure, or
no? To be honest, I didn't feel confident enough to do the rehearsing in terms of I taught myself that it won't come as natural, yeah, by rehearsing it, because due to the fact I've been always in a role where I was doing face to face with lots of people, clients, so I was pretty confident. Once I know the concept, which I need to articulate, yeah, once it is registered in my mind fully, yeah, I'll be able to spell it out properly. So what I did, rather than rehearsing it, every time I was learning something from anywhere, I will sit down on my, I use this Microsoft OneNote. Yeah, it's very good to prepare a very structured approach in terms of what you need to do. So I was documenting everything in my own words. Once you do that, you'd never have to rehearse anything. I was creating real lifetime scenarios in my day job, or all the jobs I've done in the past. I was trying to identify the potential issues, the problems they were facing. Then I will create a whole, scenario around it, right? Who are the people, how they're doing it, everything else. And then started using BA techniques on that.
That's insane. So you were able to pretty much really immerse yourself and really understand, learn it, and then adapt it according to pretty much every scenario. So that way it just gets to a point where you're able to roll it off the tongue. So you've done it in a completely different approach, but it's an approach that long term is just, you'll always win that way because you've understood it to the core.
Yeah.
And rather than just the rehearsed part. For you, I understand from your perspective is that case that you have to really understand it to be able to articulate it.
That's right. I think the whole point was, it was maybe my personality, maybe it was, it may not be suitable for everyone. Personally, I'm a detail person. I'm very detailed. So with that approach, I really like to go detail, deep dive, really deep dive. So that's why, I was studying more and more. And that was the way for me to go, rather than doing a bit of rehearsal.
That's really good. What tip would you give to all those that are currently looking for roles right now?
Well, I think the major thing is really dedicate yourself, and you really have to be obsessive, really feel the obsession for it. Until and unless you feel the obsession for it and fully immerse yourself into it. Unless you fully immerse yourself, yes, you try, which was a problem with me, to be honest, previously. I was building the momentum, right? I was learning things and trying to apply the jobs, but then I get distracted with something else, or maybe the job or other challenges. But, once you make the commitment that you want to give yourself 6 months, have a structured approach to it, and then write down your goal as to, by this time, you really need to get it done. Consider yourself as a bit of project. Consider yourself as a project and do a bit of gap analysis, let's say, because we're talking about VAs. Consider where you are today. Yeah. Consider where you are today, where you want to be in the next 6 months, and then identify where the gaps are in terms of your skills and knowledge area. Yeah. And then see how you want to bridge those gaps by taking serious steps, and break it down on a monthly basis, then weekly basis, and a daily basis. And essentially that's what I did.
Did you have like set KPIs for yourself then? Or no?
Sorry, say again. Right, just.
Did you have set KPIs for yourself?
Not as such. I didn't get to that detail.
It almost sounded like you went down that approach.
Well, I did actually set the targets. That, for example, one KPI I wanted to set up for myself, that was early January this year. But the reality is I couldn't do it. I wanted to apply 20 jobs in a week, right? And wanted to secure 4 to 5 interviews. But to be honest, I didn't have enough time to apply 20 jobs in a week. Reason why, because I was getting a good feedback, the way people are approaching directly on LinkedIn. So I thought, what's the point for me to dedicate so much time and apply myself?
Yeah.
And I was not getting many results from that approach.
Yeah, no, I think it's much better long term if recruiters are constantly headhunting you. So just massively, completely understanding LinkedIn and fully maximizing LinkedIn to its full use is pretty much all you need long term. And if you are able to maintain that over long term, recruiters will just keep coming after you constantly. And that's a much better approach than you having to hunt and fish. It's better because it's on the plate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you won't believe, some weeks I was getting about 7 to 8 requests, not requests, but recruiter contacting 7 to 8. And sometime I was saying, oh, probably, that's not something which is suitable for me. And I would simply say to them, I'm keen to be connected, but maybe it's not suitable for me at this moment. That's all I was saying to them. But still, I was building connections with them.
No, fair
For
enough.
the future.
No, that makes a lot of sense, and it's a good way to do it. But which part of the program do you feel helped you the most?
Well, I think every single component of your whole program is a piece in the puzzle, right? So as such, I would say every single thing is important, from initial 2-day training, which is setting the foundation, and then you get on to do this project. So as such, your project is I think the main component where you have lots of learning on a practical level, and then it's about preparing the CV, all the contents on the job portal, the LinkedIn, and more importantly, the feedback you guys give as to how to improve the CV and what to do, what not to do, and generally setting the tone, generally setting, you're putting into the right direction, the guidance. And more importantly, once you're out of that, phase, then you have your job portal to refer back to. So that's amazing. So all in all, is everything is one piece in the puzzle.
That's amazing. And what would you say to those that are currently on the fence of joining us?
Yeah, so I think it's a case of feeling and making sure that this is the right thing for you, and you really want to do it. Firstly, once you've decided, I would say TLA is a great name, and the way you guys support throughout the time, not only the initial period you're going through the course, but afterwards, I think the support is amazing. Everyone is very encouraging, very positive. So yeah, so I would say I have no qualms about anyone joining and not getting successful, as long as you committed, as long as you are you commit to this and you show perseverance and you stick to the process which they teach, and just follow that structured approach, and sooner or later you'll hit your goal.
100%. No, I really appreciate that. Kashif, I really appreciate your time joining us on this call. Definitely keep in touch and let us know how you're going. I really want to know about your journey, because I actually want to get you back on in 6 months' time just to hear about all of these stories that you've got going on in the BA world. So I know how you operate, and I know sooner or later you're going to conquer the whole market, which is really, really good. And you have that strive and perseverance, which is great. So keep pushing it, and hopefully I'll look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Thank you, Kashif.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Right. Next up we have is Rupesh. Now I can see that some people have a few questions, so I'll answer the questions first, and then I'm going to get Rupesh on board. Okay, so I see some customer service. So guys, so on this call we have a mixture of students, and we also have a mixture of prospective students, so people that are looking to join. So I got a customer service for I'm yet to get access to the portal. Ansalam audio. Ansalam, if you joined up, just ping a message to customer care at transformlearningacademy.com, and the support team will look into that for you. And if you've not already got access to it, they'll make sure you get access. This is so inspiring. Appreciate that, Innocent. Okay, question. Can you please talk about the cost and the timelines to be covered? So Adeyumbo, so what I would suggest, right, it all ultimately comes down to what it is that you need. So, for example, if you've already got the BCS foundation, then you probably won't need that part. And for us, then it's just a case of maybe you just need the internship experience and the recruitment support, or maybe you have the experience and you have the certification and you only need recruitment support. So it all depends on your circumstances and situation as such. What I would suggest, right, is to book a call in with our team, and we'll break down and go through it in a lot more detail with you, step by step, dig deep into your existing experience that you already have. And then we'll talk through like what program we can offer, what's going to be best for you, and what's going to ultimately get you the result that you're after. So I'm going to drop a link in the chat section. So if you just book a call directly with the team, and they'll talk you through it in more detail. I'll drop in the chat section now, so everybody can see as well. So just feel free to book a call. Question from Heather. I have a call scheduled with you guys tomorrow, but do you offer the other courses to complete the International Diploma in Business Analysis from BCS ultimately, or just Foundation Certificate, which is one of the 4 modules? So Heather, if you're looking to break into business analysis as a whole, you don't need the full diploma. Like you need to get to the point where you've got the initial introduction, you've got the foundation, you get that experience in, because the experience is the one thing that's going to help you get the job. If you just go all in for the certifications, and you'll be spending a hell of a lot of money to do that. You'll be spending like almost $3-4 grand. That's a lot of money just for certifications and no experience, no recruitment support, or anything. So if you go for the full diploma, the value that you get out of that, yeah, sure, it shows commitment and stuff, but if you're looking to make that switch, you're not going to get the result that you're after, because all you're showing is loyalty to the craft. You're not showing any experience. You're not showing that you can actually do it. It's not preparing you to actually go to an interview, because if you just do that and then you go for the interview, you're only going to give theoretical answers. Like, that's all you're going to be able to do. You want to be able to give practical hands-on answers. And that's what we teach you during the 3-month project. And then when it comes to the recruitment support side, we give you the answers. We tell you exactly what's there, what kind of questions you're going to get asked at the job spec, what kind of answers you need to give as well. So we don't cover it, because you don't need all the other stuff. But what you probably will need at a later date is to do with Agile, or learn certain tools to make you more competent long term and to apply for those really high-end jobs. I hope that answers the question, Heather. Question from Michael: how long did it take to get the job since the program ended? So for Kashif and for James started towards the end of last year. Took him about, after he finished the program, took about 2-3 months to get the job. Kashif, it took him longer, so he had quite a few personal problems in between. So he took over a year to get the job, because he had other issues going on, personal reasons, changed circumstances, etc. So he got back on after a certain period of time, and then just spent a few months, and he managed to get a job. So he went all in after a year's period due to personal commitments changing. Vijay: hi Shaz, could you please let me know if we will be taught about SQL and Excel during this training? Most of the jobs I have seen advertised is asking for the 2 mentioned program. I'm in June 22 BA cohort. So not so much. So Vijay, if you're going for like a business intelligence roles, they generally require more Excel and SQL. But if you go for pure business analysis roles, not all of them require you to learn about SQL and Excel. A lot of them don't ask for that. It's just more so to do with the full change lifecycle itself, and you've been able to document and be that main liaison, be that midway person. So as part of the program, we don't cover Excel and SQL. We cover that as part of our data analysis program. Thank you, Ansalam. Halima: hi, Salima. I had a webinar earlier this month, and my project starts on 25th. What would you recommend is the best thing to do at this time? Should I prepare for the exam now and learn more about the concepts for now before the project begins? Yeah, 100% Halima. Go through the content, the BCS foundation certification in the TLA portal. Go through that fully. I'd say the exam ASAP, so that's one less headache. Or suggest to just book the exam ASAP, like book it, and then you'll have that pressure to actually study for it and just take the exam. The worst thing you can do is just procrastinate and take the exam later down the line. Don't do that. Just get it out of the way so you know, okay, tick mark, you've got certification, and then you can focus on doing the project, or you can just do it alongside the project, but make sure you get the exam done ASAP. Okay, next up we have, right, is Rupesh. Really excited to get Rupesh on board. Rupesh, I'm going to promote you to a panelist now. Thanks, Lima. Rupesh, how are you? Can you hear me okay? Rupesh, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me, Shash?
Yeah, Rupesh, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Loud and clear online. Are you jumping on camera?
Hold on. Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Clear.
Rupesh, my man. First off, I want to give you a massive congratulations. You
Thank you.
are officially a career switcher. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's very good. It was a nice experience. I've started almost from zero. Yeah, and I was able to secure a job because of this TLA experience. Yeah.
That's
Thank
insane.
you very much, Shaz. Yeah.
No, tell us a bit about you. Tell us a bit about your background.
Background is like I have a work experience, but I came to UK like in 2019. Prior to that, I was in India and I worked in technical. Like I was a SAP basis administrator. I worked there as an. So when I came here, I've started looking for a job. Like in September, I came in 2019. September, I came. By the Feb, I've started looking for a job. I got one opportunity as a Scrum Master also with Publicis Sapient. So they hold my offer for like 3 to 4 months, but due to pandemic, again, they revoke it. So I was literally devastated. I didn't know what to do. But after that, one of my friend told me, why don't you try for a business analyst? And I was not getting calls because I didn't had an UK experience, firstly. Secondly, I didn't know what is business analysis and all this stuff. I mean, it is very easy to learn Scrum Master stuff or to understand it. But I feel business analyst is quite complicated compared to Scrum Master. So one day when I was like on Google, I just check which all our institutes are there, which can like, who can teach me and give me some sort of experience or real life project experience. So I've compared a few of them and I found that TLA was quite good because most of them were using difficult words or they were very complicated. For the person like me who has starting business analysis from zero, it was very difficult to digest it.
Yeah, no, I understand.
So yeah, the first 2 days foundation was very good. And mostly I've enjoyed the 3 months of real-time project because that gives him a lot of time to research, like learning from Google, from YouTube, or asking questions. So it really helped me a lot.
It gives you the guidance on what aspects to learn and then learn it from
Exactly. Yeah. It actually helped me to extend my horizon.
No,
the full picture. Yeah.
Just having that, sometimes just having that guidance and then going away and just like learning everything about it from every angle, like it really helps. So no, I understand. So did you come? So when you came from India, did you come as an international student then?
No, I was just on a dependent visa. Yeah.
Full rights to work then. Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
That makes it much more easier, doesn't it?
Exactly.
That's really good. Okay, so you joined TLA. Okay, so you got the job. So tell us more about the job that you secured. So is it a contract role, permanent role?
I joined Feb 2021 batch.
Okay.
And February, March, April, like till May, my course got completed. Like, and I've took 1 more month to study.
Okay.
And after that, I've started applying. So within 1 month, I've got a job. It was a contract. It wasn't a contract role itself.
That's amazing.
So it was 6 months of contract with Boston Scientific. And once after that contract, I mean, within that contract itself, I've got opportunity to learn many more things. I've learned into data management stuff over there.
Amazing.
So I learned new tools like Power BI and all. I've got some hands-on on SQL. Like the role was like quite technical, as well as, technical BA sort of role was there. As I already had some technical experience, so it helped me a lot to work there.
Yeah, if you've got the background, then it helps.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
for more technical roles.
Yeah. And after that, once after the end of contract, after 1 month, I got again second job as well. So it is into development sort of, yeah,
Wow.
like, yeah, into data management sort of thing. Like you have to take the business data and you have to analyze and create some presentations out of it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, data analysis.
And did you use job portals to secure the job, or was it via LinkedIn?
Yes, I have used many job portals, not even from UK, from India, all countries. I was looking out to grab all opportunities. But I think LinkedIn was quite useful. I've got many calls from LinkedIn only. And some of the job portals like JobServe is quite good, because JobServe is with JobServe you will get many calls from the for the freshers, basically most of the calls, and some some of the consultants will meet you, and you can get in touch with them as well. In fact, on JobServe I've done some courses as well. They give some sort of certifications, and they are also helpful. So I've done that as well. Yeah.
That's amazing. What type of questions were you being asked in the interview?
Interview, like I have given only 2 interviews, and I was able to clear in third interview. So I can share only 2 experience as per the 2 interviews only with you. So firstly, it's common question like tell me about yourself, or how can you define your day as in as in business analyst, or can you please explain your role, or can you please elaborate about your background experience and all this stuff. So all these questions have the same sort of answers. So I used a job description in order to give answer for such type of questions, some powerful words which they have already mentioned in their job descriptions. Then then definitely they will ask you one question from the requirement gathering, then one question from stakeholder management, and doing all this while doing this activities, what all challenges you have faced. Have the same answers. So I used a job description in order to give answer for such type of questions. Some powerful. So I used a job description in order to give answer for such type of questions. Some powerful.
What's going on? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Not sure what the hell just happened over there. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
No,
that's it. Yeah.
No, that's really, really good to know. And the actual interview itself, right? Like, how did you go about preparing for the interview? Is there anything special that you did for it?
Oh, so for the interview preparation, I learn everything, whatever knowledge I have got from TLA, firstly. All the interview questions and answers I have prepared literally from them. And then my first interview was not good at all. It was like a disaster. I was not able to answer many questions to them. Wow. But I realized that job description is a very important thing when we go for an interview, because and rest of the questions are like similar, which you will get. But I learned that if you read job description at least 4 to 5 times, I would say, try to understand the meaning behind their words, what exactly is their requirement. And if you frame some sort of story out of it, create a real time, and when you give interview, you make sure that you interact with them. And even if you are asking questions to them, you are asking questions just to showcase your knowledge, not to point out their existing process, sort of thing. And that's it. I mean, that is enough. I feel it's not too much. Yeah.
Did you find it, like, the question is in terms of, well, I've got a kind of got answer, but did you find any hurdles because you have zero UK experience?
Yeah.
Start applying for UK based roles, like, did you come across any hurdles? Did anybody pull you up on that?
Yeah, I felt so many difficulties, to be frank, because even though in India I have worked for as an SAP basis consultant, I had a UK client, so I had some sort of experience, but I wasn't aware about the UK market, how the job search is going on, how to do job search, what all things you guys consider, and then when it comes to your LinkedIn profile, how to develop the LinkedIn profile, which are the important skills. Uh, so I learned all this from TLA, which was very helpful for me. And one more thing I would like to say, uh, I didn't apply for more days. Like after the completion of my course, when I started applying, I just apply for only 15 days. I mean, for 2 weeks only. But I make sure that whatever I have applied, I have started collecting, notes. I just wanted to understand, if I'm applying for BA, what are the skills they needed? And I started working on those skills only. So I didn't apply more, but I make sure that my resume will include all these skills and I will be aware with it. And I can explain them in very, like I can explain them confidently with the real time experience. Yeah. So this helps me a lot. And as I already had an agile experience and the technical background, that also like was an added advantage for me.
No, 100%. I think that's really good to know. Okay. What did you do differently in this interview? So for this job that you secured, what did you do differently in this interview compared to all the other interviews that you previously been to?
So here again, I would like to say the job description is the important part. But one more thing you have to decide is, like, when you go through the job description, you should come out with your own questions, which you might expect it from the interviewer.
So you can
And
ask
you
them.
should, yeah, and you should try to create, answer them by your end, create such type of some answers. And secondly, when you are giving interview, make sure that you are already working in that organization, as if and you have already done these stuffs. It's not that you have learned from somewhere else, or and now you are explaining to them. It's not like that. You have to gain their confidence. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. And what tip would you give to all those that are currently looking for roles right now?
I think firstly, I would say have a faith on God. Don't underestimate yourself, because if you are giving interview, like if any interviewer or any manager, if he's spending 1 hour with you, if you're getting shortlisted just for that interview, that means they already have a positive, they are already positive about you. So you have already created your impression. That's why you're shortlisted. Secondly, you make sure that you elaborate what they want. So you should focus on what is their requirement. Like, let's say if you are applying for like an agile business analyst, as an agile business analyst, then you should know what is agile, what in case of agile or in case of waterfall, how I can implement the work as a business analyst, what will be the differences in that, what are the ceremonies and all. So you should know all these basic things. If let's say you are going as a technical business analyst, then you make sure that you know what is a CI/CD pipeline, what all phases that you will conduct, or uh, what will be the BA's role, how he will do the mapping, in case of technical requirements, APIs, how they works. If I have some APIs, what sort of requirement, how to gather requirement for particular API, what are the technical terms they use. At least you should know that knowledge. At least you know that in real time how they operate, how they work. And I think that knowledge you can get it from TLA as well. You can ask. Secondly, you can most of the knowledge you will get it from YouTube itself. So YouTube also helped me a lot by
100%.
understanding,
No, I can
yes,
imagine. That's really,
real
really,
time.
it's good to be resourceful and just know where to get what information the minute
Exactly.
you need
Yeah.
it. It's really important. All right. Or which part of the program do you feel helped you the most?
As I said earlier, I mean, the 2 days of foundation was good, but I experienced the project part, real time project, because in real time project, I heard many things which were not part of the 2 days foundation, because it was a real time, the challenges. And so I feel as if I'm working. It's a real time work I'm doing. So it helped me a lot to attend that, 3 months of course, real time course. Like I was like an active participant. I used to ask so many questions. Then I had so many issues like that. So that's what is very important, and it make me a lot of interactive as well, and that really helped me a lot while giving interviews, because I no need to make my create new mindset, like I have to. I was very confident that yes, I have already worked like that.
Well, it's really good insight. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, one last question I want to ask. What would you say to somebody who's thinking about joining us right now, but's on the fence right now? What would you say to that person?
See, I would say if I can able to do, anyone can able to do it. Firstly, because when it comes to business analysis, definitely one should go with the TLA, because they will not teach you, but they will make sure that you grow in your career. And when you will apply, while applying, mostly when you feel seek, or seek in the sense, you feel as if I'm not progressing, or I'm doing something wrong, that time also you will get good support from the TLA. I think that is what very important, because anyone can learn, anyone can at least understand anything, but that support is very important. So questionnaire was very fine. Yeah.
I think your story is very inspiring. From like from back home to like from
Yeah.
India, then coming to the UK and then trying to make your mark here and then find work here and everything. It is hard. Like we've had other previous students. We had Priya and we've had Shri, which are quite recent, who very similar situations where they came from India, but because they went towards maternity and they were taking care of kids, they hadn't worked for like
Yeah.
6 to 8 years or so, and then all of a sudden they do the program and they get like a really high end job, like 60, 70K plus. So it's crazy to see the impact of being able to like be on the other side and like really see the impact that the course itself has, and being able to like get people such a result. It's insane, but it works. And I think like experience is like, it's the main thing that's needed for anything, for any kind of job, especially in the UK. I know back home in Pakistan, India, Nigeria, it generally works slightly differently because it's very education focused in those countries. So you have to have the qualifications and then
Qualifications, right?
there.
Yeah.
Whereas over here, qualifications are nice, but especially for BA and these kind of jobs, it's all about, it's 100% about experience. Well,
Yes.
unless you're trying to be a doctor or like an engineer or something like that, then fair enough, that makes sense. But if it's not a regulated job, you don't need a qualification. It's more, it's better to have it than not, but experience is everything. Like
Yes. Yeah.
the most, yeah.
And yes, they definitely look for a UK experience. They
Yeah,
prefer to have it.
100%.
On personal front, I would say if you plan, rather than applying more jobs, if you study the job descriptions and put more time on learning the market, learning the new skills, and keep preparing for them, or you can do some sort of hands-ons as well on different websites. So that will definitely help you out. So make sure that every day you learn something and you are doing progress. That is enough, I think, to get
Yeah.
a job
No,
easily.
100%. I completely agree. But Rupesh, I really appreciate your time
Yeah.
and call. I want to open the rest of this call up to a Q&A. So guys, if anybody has any questions to ask to Rupesh or myself, just drop in the Q&A section now, and I'll read them out and then we'll get them answered. So question from Suleiman Hashim. Only a week ago, I've come across your program. It attracted me to switch my career in 90 days or less. This is the reason I attend the workshop today. Well, Suleiman, I really appreciate you joining the call. I hope you found everything on this call super useful. And if you have any other questions, do feel free to give us a shout. If you've not already spoken to a career coach, then I would 100% suggest speak to our team, and they can guide you on the best way to be able to make that switch. Question from Anslam. So how easy is it to get a job that offers sponsorship after one finishes the program? I'm an international student. It is possible. So there's a few different ways to go about it. So one way to go about it is that ultimately it all comes down to when does your visa expire. If that date is quite close by, I would 100% suggest get it extended, get the post-study work visa, which will extend it for an additional 2 years, and then apply for fixed-term contracts, and it'll be much easier. There'll be less barriers to be able to find work in the UK. Then it's quite easy because we've had other students that have taken that exact route. Alternatively, if you've got quite a bit of time for your visa to expire, then you can apply for tier 2 sponsorship jobs. So for specifically tier 2 sponsorship, now it's more harder. It's not impossible, but it's more harder in the sense that the companies for tier 2, there's a very specific register. It's called the tier 2 sponsorship list. You can find it on the government website. There's a list of, I think, about 38 to 40,000 companies on there. And that company is only the companies that are on that register that are able to provide sponsorship. If they're not on that register, they can't, no company can provide sponsorship. So it won't make sense for you to use normal job boards. Now, there may be tier 2 sponsorship job boards. You can potentially check them out, but I'll suggest to approach those companies directly. So in the TLA portal, there's a tier 2 recruitment strategy that we have. So if you follow that module specifically, and it'll give you access to that register, but with the contact details of these companies. And we show you the right strategy on how to embed that into LinkedIn and how to start applying for work specifically for tier 2. It's a slightly longer approach, but it's a very effective approach because we're taking a lot of the running around away. So you can go down that route and be able to secure a sponsorship job. It is possible. Other students have done it. You can definitely do it. Next question we have from Michael. Which course is more popular, BA or PM? Can you expand on why you feel that course is more popular? I'd say BA is naturally just more popular, mainly because of the amount of demand that's required. Project management makes a lot of sense if you already have management experience. I only personally push anybody towards project management if you have management experience and you've managed a team of, say, 8 people, 10 people in like banking, finance, or any kind of industry, but you have management experience. There's a lot of pressure that goes on to being a project manager. You've got to manage a budget, you've got to manage a lot of resources, a lot of people, and it's hard to manage people when you don't know what they do for work. Only if you know what they do for work can you actually effectively manage them, because they can challenge you and you can challenge them if you know what they're doing. If you have no idea what they're doing, you can't challenge them. So jumping straight into project management is a big leap to take, because you put yourself under all sorts of pressure, whereas business analysis, there's less pressure on you. That pressure of being able to deal with the budget and get everything done on time, it's not on you. So whilst there's less pressure, you can get to learn the environment, deal with all these sorts of stakeholders, and kind of observe a bit more and really learn it. So there's less pressure on you. So if you don't have management experience, but you do have some sort of professional experience, then 100% business analysis naturally would be the next step up. It would make a lot more sense for you. And it's less risk. BAs and PMs generally get paid pretty much the same. I would personally suggest go towards the BA route. It just makes a lot more sense. Less pressure, more money, good work-life balance. It kind of hits it from every angle, and a lot of working from home opportunities out there. And recently, a lot of students, they just do like 2-3 contracts in one go. So they just make a lot of money and just make it about the green, right? Make it easy. So you could do that. I hope that answers the question, Michael. So BA 100%, I'll suggest be the path. If you don't have management experience, go towards BA. Pia, how did you apply for sponsorship and what were the basic requirements for sponsorship? So Pia, for Rupesh didn't go down the sponsorship route because he had the dependent visa. He has no restrictions to work, so he doesn't have to go for tier 2 jobs. But if the visa expires, and once it gets to that point, then eventually you probably have to go for tier 2 sponsorship jobs. But for now, it'll be the case of dependent visa, and you can rely on that. But I feel like once you make more money, so even if you're an international student and you get that post-study work visa and you get extended for 2 years, making more money will naturally solve a lot of problems, and it'll open up more doors and more routes for you to be able to stay in the UK and then continue to work. So I 100% do think that it just comes down to money as well. So hope that answers the question. Solomon, okay, no, Charles, thank you, Solomon. Okay, another question. Charles, can you brief in a few words about the internship or real-time project experience component of the TLA provides to students? Yeah, sure. So basically, Solomon, so the way that the program generally works is a 3-stage program. So we start off by preparing you for certification. It's the BCS foundation that we prepare our students for the business analysis program. So it's a 40-question exam. It's multiple choice. The way we prepare you for that is a 2-day live webinar. In that webinar is a full introduction into business analysis. We talked through exactly how it works, from pure beginner level to like an intermediate type level. After that, you'll get access to our portal, which are a series of videos and all the practice paper questions. So you get more than enough support to pass the exam first time. Once stage 1 is complete, we then push you towards stage 2, where we provide you with hands-on internship experience. How that works is that you'll be joining us on a 3-month project where you'll be working as a business analyst for a national client of ours. It's all done remotely, it's all part-time, so it won't conflict with any of your current commitments. How it works is that once every 2 weeks, you log on to a Zoom call. On that call, there's a project lead, project manager, and all the business analysts on that call. And everybody's going to get shown what to do and how to do it first. And then you'll get allocated a task, and you have to complete that task by the deadlines that are set. And you do this for an entire period of 3 months. And what you're learning is the full project lifecycle. So we teach you like how to start the project, how to plan and execute it, and how to close it down as a BA. At the end of the 3 months, you'll get the confidence to walk and talk like a BA. So you learn the lingo, but more important, you'll get a reference which you can then add onto your CV. So the chance of you getting that job now is 10 times higher because you've got formal experience to back you up. At the end of the 3 months, we then move on to the final stage, stage 3, where we provide you with hands-on recruitment support. So we'll help you with the CV and the LinkedIn profile first. We'll work through all your previous experience that you have, and we'll use all the transferable skills in your previous experience. And we'll tailor that across to a business analysis experience. So anything to do with change, that's all we talk about. And we'll add the experience which we've given you. So you're going to show that you have a track record of dealing with change on your CV. Then we help you get loads of interviews booked in. So we share all this stuff to 1,000 recruiters. We show you the job boards, etc. You'll get bombarded with phone calls, interviews. As soon as the interview is secured, you join our coaching call and we'll prepare you for the interview. So we'll tell you like what to say in the interview, what kind of questions you're going to get asked, what kind of answers you need to give. And we have a whole video portal with all the common questions and answers as well. And once you got the job, we'll give you 1 month on the job support as well. So it's the full end-to-end career transformation. So definitely do speak to our career coaching team. I've just sent you a link to book a call. Feel free to book a call if you've not already spoken to somebody, and that will it'll help get rid of any doubt, any questions that you have, and they'll speak about it in a lot more detail. I hope that answers the question, Solomon. Question from VJ. Hi, Shaz, please, how do we access recorded webinar? So if you go into the TLA portal, there's a coaching call recordings module. So in the coaching call recordings, there's a spreadsheet of all the coaching call recordings for the project calls. That's all in Basecamp. Heather, thanks for answering. Are you able to talk a little bit about Scrap and LinkedIn as mentioned in the webinar? That was an approach I'd not seen before. I hope you're familiar with the tool. Heather, when it comes to like using Scrap is one tool. There's other tools that you can use out there. There's Sales QL as well, which you can use. There's a tool where you can extract emails from LinkedIn, and you're able to bulk email all the recruiters. So you can search for recruiters using LinkedIn, and you can directly message them, because ultimately all the application process is about gaining attention from the right person. Once you've got that attention, then you can get yourself booked in for an interview. But it's about knowing how to get that attention. So whether it's the case of picking that phone up, giving them a call, whether it's the case of using job boards and applying, whether it's going on LinkedIn, sending a connection request, or viewing the profile, sending them a message on LinkedIn directly, applying for the job on LinkedIn directly. So there's so many touch points that you can have to gain their attention. So what I suggest to the students is apply on the job board, go on the job board, find the recruiter on LinkedIn, and then message the recruiter on LinkedIn, view their profile, drop a comment on their post, send them a message directly, get their attention and get that call booked in with them. Even if it's a case of picking that phone up, going to their website, give them a call, find out about the actual job itself, send your CV across and get yourself booked in for an interview. SalesQL is another way where you could send an email to them directly, which just that extra one added touch point. Recruiters check their emails constantly in the day. It's the first thing they'll check. That's with anybody. You always check your emails first thing, and then you respond accordingly. I hope that sheds some light to the whole scrap.io tool. It's definitely super effective. Awesome, Michael. Can someone work on multiple contracts simultaneously, Alassa? Yeah, 100%. We have loads of students that work on multiple contracts simultaneously. Definitely check them out. Reach out to Harris Naz because I know he's currently doing it. There's a few others as well. Shrebudin, I know he's doing a permanent job and a contract job as well. 85k role and a £550 per day contract. So it's worth reaching out to some of these students, and they're doing multiple contracts. Really good. Is the meeting outside of normal working hours? Yeah, so Michael, so everything that we do is always over evenings and weekends. Everything we do, because we understand people have normal 9-to-5 working jobs. So to make it easier, we try to accommodate by doing it evenings and weekends to make it a bit more easier. And if there's any call that you miss, you get access to the recording straight after. So there's nothing that you'll be able to miss because we record everything. Question. So Solomon, thanks, Charles. Thank you, Solomon. Is it okay to say that the project is a paid employment role? So from Corinne Marshall. So Corinne, so on your CV, it's an unpaid internship that we have, but in terms of the salary question and how to answer and everything, if you head on over to the TLA portal, you go to project explanation, contract, and referencing. So if you just check that module specifically, it talks you through the contract and how to go about answering and explaining the project itself. So if you go through that module, I'm sure you'll get the answer to that. Would you recommend applying for jobs whilst doing the projects or after? I would recommend, Martin, it's all down to how confident you are with everything. If you're super confident with the base knowledge of everything, then 100% I would suggest start applying straight away. A few months in, like 2 months in, go for it. If, however, you're a complete beginner, you know absolutely nothing about business analysis or data or project management, whichever course you're on, then learn it, understand it, gain confidence first within yourself, and then start applying. That's what I would personally recommend. Last thing you want to do is, just jump deep in, and then it affects your confidence when you keep getting rejected, and it's mainly because of the knowledge gap, right? But at the same time, that's a blessing as well, because sometimes it's best to throw yourself into the deep end and just learn fast. So you could do that, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you're a risk taker, then start applying the ASAP. There's no right or wrong way. We've had students do both. So whatever's easier. Thanks, Michael. I'm going to head over to the chat section. At what point, so a question from Oliver Sugan, Saeed, at what point can we take the BCS Foundation exam? So you can take the exam anytime within 12 months from the initial 2-day live webinar that you attend. So you don't have to say it straight away if you don't want to. You can do it anytime within 12 months. Just email customer care at transformlearningacademy.com, and one of the support staff from the customer care team, they'll respond to your email. They'll get you booked in for the exam. I'll drop the link in again to book a call. So guys, feel free to book a call with the team. Thank you guys for attending the workshop. For anybody who's looking to become a business analyst, project manager, or data business intelligence analyst, then I've dropped a link in. If you're on Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, or Instagram Live, I'll drop a link in the comment section. If you're on Zoom, I've just dropped it in the chat section now for you. Book a call with our team who'll run you through how our program works. And if you fit our criteria, we'll be happy to get you on board and get you the results that you're after. Until next time, my name is Shafiq, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next workshop. Thank you, everybody, for joining the call. I'll see you next time. Thank you, Rupesh. I really appreciate you joining.
Thank you, Shaz. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.